Hey, what's up guys? It's Peter here. Today I'm gonna be swapping out this battery pack from this battery pack. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if I was to buy this battery by Ryobi, model P100, 18 volt NiCad, this would be, an original one would be around $45 to $50. And this battery right here from Harbor Freight, it cost about $13. Now, if you guys, I want to show you guys something right here because this is a common problem that happens with your NiCad batteries when they're old. This is an 18 volt. It's registering at 14.8. So I'm guessing that there's a few cells that are damaged in here, and when that happens, it affects everything else. Now, this right here is the same 18 volt battery, and it's registering at 18.64. So that shows you right there, this is a brand new cell, and this is an older one. Now, I have a video that I will link in the bottom in the description on how to check for damaged rechargeable batteries. But in this case, I have already shocked the battery, which I think I did a video on. But anyway, all you got to do is shock your battery, put a little bit of charge in it, it'll wake up the NiCad. But in this case, this battery right here did its time. It keeps, looping back to being a low voltage battery. Whenever I charge it, it shows an error, and I would have to keep shocking it and shocking it for it to cycle through. And when I do use it, it only lasts, like a couple minutes. So it's time to swap them out. So anyway, what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how I swap this battery pack into here. And it's maybe like a 3-step system because one of the cells actually has to go in this part right here. So we're going to have to move one cell from the side and put it on the top to make it work. And in this video, or in this project, you're going to need some electrical tape, some needle nose pliers, and some cutters. And most of the parts that are already in here, you're going to be able to use vice versa. And at the same time, you will need a soldering iron. One of these guys right here. All right, so anyway, let's get this started. Alright guys, now that I had this thing apart, I want to show you guys, let's see which cell is broken. So, I'm going to take it apart anyway. So I'm going to go check to see which cell is broken. And besides, you guys want to save these parts right here because you're going to use that to reassemble your pack. So what we're going to do, turn on our voltmeter. Can you see that? Can you see that there? Let's see. There, you should be able to see it there. So I'm going to go and check this rear one, this front top one, and see if it's broken. Nope, that one's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. But you see, you're going to notice some of them are registering like at only 1 volt. Okay, this one's broken. See this one? Yep, this one's bust. This one right there. That one's no good. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to X that. Double check it again. Yep, that one's bad. See, so that's one cell. So I simply put an X like that right there. See the next one. That one's still okay. Again, like I said, I've shocked that. That one's still okay. Although it was registering a little lower than usual. See, this one's really good. It's 1.2. That one looks like it's bad. Yep, this one's bad. So the cell right here is bad too. So I'm gonna put an X on that. So you know what? Now that I think about it, I could probably still wake this up. There's only a few so far. Let's see. I'm guessing there's probably 3 that are bad. That one's still okay. That one's still good. Nope, that one's bad. This one right here is bad. And let's see this one. Oh, that one's bad too. Yeah, see, that's 4. That's 4. So these are bad. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are bad. 1, 2, 3. This one's bad. See, in this case, I might be able to wake those up by shocking it. Do I want to do it? Not really. So I'll just go ahead and do it a swap. So my next step now is to take this battery pack apart. So here we go. Alright guys, now that this is apart, what I'm going to do is pretty much disconnect these two. And what you want to do is put them side by side with one another and see how they fit. Okay, now, you see this right here, if you look right here, there's this notch here and there's this notch here, so that's good, that works. There's 5 cells here and there's 5 cells here, so that's good. So now, if you notice, this cell up here on the Ryobi battery pack, instead of it being here, they placed it on top. So what I'm going to do is get this battery and put it up here. So the first thing I got to do is I need to disconnect this wire from these contacts, and then I have to reconnect it along with the battery pack. And so let me see how I can strategize this. Yeah. So this right here, you guys, if you know how to solder and follow directions, you would not have a problem doing this. It'll save you guys some money. I have done this maybe, I think 4 times now, I believe. Be careful not to burn yourself. And one other thing, you guys, one of the things that's important with the NiCad cells is to make sure that you don't overheat it. So what I mean by that is that do not, like, whenever you use up the battery, let it rest before you charge it. Let it rest before you charge it. And at the same time, don't ever discharge it all the way till it's completely dead. Always let it cool down before and after charge. And one of the other things is that you do not want to overheat the cell when you're soldering with the iron, because it could damage the cell. So yeah, what I'm going to do here now is, so all these are fine. So I just need to disconnect. Let's move this thing aside real quick. So since that's a part of the series, what I'm going to do is remove this guy from up here, and so that I can relocate it up here. But since you notice this one's sitting here like this, what I'm going to do is rip it right here, so then I can kind of just resolder it from there. Well, I forgot to tell you guys. First of all, what I'm going to do is remove this cell. I'm going to remove this cell so then I can use that to relocate. And then after that, I'm going to reconnect these wires together to complete the series. Positive to negative. And this now will become the new split. Okay? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to disconnect this from right here. When you're doing this, you don't want to make sure you don't want to damage the cell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this guy right here. Kind of just that guy so you don't short out. There. See how we just ripped it off? Now, rip the bottom part out. Can't see here. Okay. So now that I've removed that, kind of messed it up there. There it goes. Where did this guy go? Okay. So it's going to be like this, and then this guy, if you notice, now it's going to be able to sit up here, and that should be able to fit. But now that I took the battery apart, if you notice, this is going to be the new negative, and this is going to be the new positive. And enable for to do that, I need to reconnect this positive down here to this negative up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unsolder this, and I'm going to use this as a jumper to connect to that. So just unsolder this guy. Kind of go there. Unsolder this, set that aside. Then what I could actually do is move this to the side, down this way, fold it down that way like that, so I can kind of tuck it. But see, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this wire, and I'm going to solder it right over there. Or I can actually do it at the top or whatever way I want, but basically what I'm trying to do here is to reconnect this as the new jumper. So I'm going to cut it right here, just enough so that I can solder it right over here on that area right there. Okay, move this aside. Sorry guys, it's a little harder for me to maneuver because the camera is actually right there in front of me, so I'm kind of crunched in a way, but I want to show you guys a step-by-step on how to do this. And trust me, you guys can do the same exact thing, and you guys are going to be super happy and stoked that you were able to swap your new batteries, and then, you know, have a brand new battery pack, and you didn't even spend anything on it, or hardly anything, if that. Okay. So what I want to do now is put a little bit of solder on that wire. And you always want to heat the bottom of the wire, and then just get solder on top so that it could fuse itself in there. It could pretty much, there you go. See that? There, just a slight coat. And then what I'm going to do, solder it on there. Ooh, that's hot. Duh. So heat this up. Go, solder the wire in there. There, just like that. There you go. So remember how this used to be the negative on the Harbor Freight battery pack, and this was a positive. So I kept the positive there, but what I did was that I moved the negative and positive to this new area right here, because I'm gonna make a jumper for this other cell that I removed to be up here so that it could fit in my Ryobi case. So I'm sure you guys have followed that so far. Ow. Okay, so all you gotta do is tuck this one here like this, and that should be solid, you guys, right there. So if you check right now, let's see, check it real quick, make sure everything's good, probe it right here on the negative. If you guys can't see, this is the negative I'm getting, negative, positive, there. It's registering at 7.39 because we're still missing one more cell. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this cell, and we're gonna connect, since this is a negative, this is the one that's gonna go up here for the new positive and new negative. So if you see right here, what we gotta do is dismantle this connector right here, and that's what I'm gonna use to be the new connector for this new cell. So I'm basically, all I'm doing is swapping this cell right here to this one. If I want to make things easy, I could just get this cell just the way it is, cut it right here and cut it there and just solder it here. But the thing is, I don't want to do that because this whole battery pack right here from Harbor Freight is brand spanking new. Although this cell is still good, I want to use the new one. So I'm going to go ahead and dismantle this as clean as I can on this side from up here, so I can salvage it and save it, because I don't want to mess up the connector, because I'm going to solder it right on top as well. So let's see if I could get a good break on it. So start in the bottom, just wiggle that, boom, there, got it off. And then from this top right here, I'm just going to bend it. Okay, I was able to save the connector. So I'm going to just bend this and see if I can snap it off, and I can just reattach it to the new cell. There you go. So there, took that off. So what I want to do now is reconnect it to the other cell, like so, and then make it work that way. Try to bend it this way. Okay. So it has to be like this. If you guys want to have one of those holders, it'll work out even better. But see, I don't have one of those. So at this point, what I could do now is I could actually cut this off, because I'm gonna need to reattach it anyway to the new part on the new cell. And then this is the heat sink right here. This is the part that indicates, it's kind of like to prevent you from overheating the cell. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to simply just stick it on the side of the cell once I have it inside the battery pack. I'll probably put it in the same location, and that should do the job. Okay, so now we attach this here. Now on this part, there's a little stud that's sticking out. This is the new cell. So I'm simply going to slip the new cell right here. Okay, like that. Okay, and so the way I get this to stick is that at first I put a little bit of tape around here, so then I could solder it on. And then once I solder it on, then I could remove the tape. But on this one, I should be okay. I'll just place it down here for now. Whoa, sorry about that. See if I can get it done just this way. What you want to do is press it down, so then it's not protruding too high. Press it down. So again, you guys, this is like pretty easy to do. I guarantee you guys are gonna probably go to swap meets and try to look for dead Ryobi cells that you can swap out. I mean, a lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people just throw these batteries away, and they're so expensive, man. I mean, I just want to save you guys a couple bucks, so that's the reason why I'm showing you guys how I do it. It's as simple as that, really. So now that I have it like that, I might have to tape it after all. Yeah, hold on a second. There you go. So I ended up taping it after all. So this is what we're gonna do now. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna raise it up right here so that you guys can see it better. I simply need to weld this part to the cell. So again, remember, this gets pretty crucial. This is a very sensitive part of it because like I said, you don't want to heat up the cell too much because you might damage it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start heating this part up, which is up here, the connector part, just so that I can melt some solder on there. And then you know what else you could do? You could actually loop a wire there to make it easy, but like I said, I've done this before, and this is basically all I did to do it. So I do it little by little because I don't want to damage the cell. Again, I just heat it up, put some solder on it, heat it up, put some solder. So little by little, and then eventually you'll get it on there. It'll weld. You'll have enough solder in there too, so that it could weld together. I hope I don't damage it. There we go. There we go. That should be good. There you go. So now I got contact on there. See, it is welded on right there, right there. Okay, and we could go ahead and test it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and test it right now just to make sure. So this is the new contact. This is the new positive to make it fit in the Ryobi, and I'm gonna test it to make sure I'm getting voltage through it. So probe it here. There you go, 1.24. So I didn't damage the cell. Cool. So now I could take off the electrical tape and go to the next step. So there you go. It's nice and sturdy. Okay. Put this aside. And all I got to do now is get this lead wire. Okay. This is my new battery pack. And what I'm going to do is... Oh, gosh. I just shorted it out. Don't do that. Alright guys, so like I said, just got to be careful not to short it out. You see how I just shorted that one out. So since this is the negative right here, this is going to be the new negative. The negative of the battery pack is down here now. Okay, down, I'm sorry, right here. Okay, so there's a jumper here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this negative wire and solder it to that negative there. And that's going to become the negative of the battery pack. And then since this is the new positive, I'm going to get this bottom part and put it here on this positive. And that should complete my 18-volt pack. And remember how I unsoldered this one? I could just simply use this, solder it here, and solder it here in the bottom. Right there. And we'll be good. All right. So... we can actually just use it down here. Go ahead and cut this. Well, it's tougher than I think. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just do it this way. Just remember, it's important not to short anything out like what I just did right now. Just gonna heat this up. Same thing. There we go. Where's that little black wire? Solder it this way. Didn't know I was covering you guys. Sorry about that. There you go. There. So there's that negative. I mean, see how I soldered that right there? So I'm going to just tuck that down. Okay, and that'll go right here. So this is going to be your riser from the original Ryobi pack. So what I'm going to do is leave some space here and kind of figure out how you're going to have it sitting. So since the battery pack's going to be this way, this is where it gets a little tricky, just a tiny bit. Okay, because the battery is going to be sitting this way in here, and this is going to be this way. So you want to have the cell sitting like this, right in here, up against that part. Okay, and able to do that, you're going to have to make sure it's this way, sitting like this. So we got to strategize this so that it's not too crooked or whatnot. So what I usually do is make a little bit of play. That's why I added this longer wire on it. That's why I added this longer wire right here, just so that I can have more play in terms of trying to get this squared away. So what I'm going to do is solder this lead wire now to that. Okay, and then I'm almost done. Oh, Just make sure it's not, there we go. That should be good. Standing up. Again, like I've said it before, do not heat up the battery too long because you don't want to damage the cell. Solder does get, the soldering iron does get hot. Oh man, my solder is kind of dirty already, so. Oh man, I hope I don't mess this one up. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna heat this up, solder it there. Should be good to go. Yeah, I gotta clean my solder. Ooh. Alright guys, so there it is. It's soldered. It is now soldered right there, and it's connected to here. So what I'm gonna do is tuck this down, and then I'm gonna have this thing placed this way. But don't forget, I still need to connect this wire down to this post right here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just tuck it this way, kind of let it kind of curve the wire down there so that I could fit it. Move that aside for now. Splice this a little bit. So I was too lazy to go get my my other wire stripper in the garage, so I ended up going with this one. Yeah, which is kind of like mediocre, but you know, whatever works. Okay, so again, heat that up. Go from underneath, heat from underneath, and then so the lead can go into the braids. There you go. All right. Then I simply flip this over just on its side or whatnot. Just be careful not to damage the cells because this thing could get pretty crazy. So what I want to do, see if I can get it to stand this way. So remember, the cell's going to be up here this way, so you want to shape it so that the wire is not kinked or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and solder it this way, just like that, and that'll be perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna bend it a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't fall. I simply put some solder right here, heat it up. There we go. And again, when you're soldering, just one of the tips for soldering, you got to make sure your contacts are really clean, so then you don't have any problems, you know, getting the solder to stick well. Ow. There you go. That works. Okay, so there it is. I soldered it that way, so I'm just gonna tuck it on its side. It's still a little hot. Ooh, it's hot. Okay, don't burn yourself now. Go this way, and then again, don't forget the little cover in the bottom. Oh, there goes the camera again. So it's gonna be sitting up here like this. Actually backwards, this way. Okay. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to test to make sure that there's current, there's electricity going through, and this should be a complete battery pack already. So let's test it out. Just got to be careful that nothing touches each other. Okay. But I'm going to show you guys to make sure also. So anyway, let's see if I can move this aside. There you go. So here's the positive, this jumper, and here's a negative. We are at 18.64. There you go. 18.64. Yep, so that's the battery pack. It's complete now. So here's the reassembly part. We got it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottom piece right over here in the bottom. I don't want to use the same side, so, well, it doesn't even matter. Just do it that way. Okay. There shouldn't be any. Well, or we could just get this one and cut it, make it work that way too. Okay. Be creative however way you want. Alright guys, so we're just basically simply putting it back. So here's my cell. Again, just make sure that none of it gets kinked up and touch each other, and you know, should be okay. We're basically just reassembling it into the new home, its new case. Now see on this one right here, that could be a slight problem, but I don't think it will be. But let's just make sure that it's tucked in properly, and I don't think it should be a problem. If anything, all it's gonna do is gonna be hitting right here on the release. So let's see if it will be a problem. Nah, it's not gonna be a problem. Yeah, it's just gonna be a slight kink right there, but that's fine. It's not gonna get in the way. Okay, and over here there's no problem at all whatsoever. And this heat sink, all I'm doing is sticking it right over, where should I put it? Maybe here. There you go. Or, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just put it right here, and I'm gonna just stick some stick a cardboard there or something, or better yet, let's see if I can have room right here. Yeah, maybe I have room here. Actually pretty small. There we go. Just put it right there. There we go. I mean, it might be pushing up against it a little bit, but as long as it's touching one of the cells, just to indicate, you know, it's just another safety precaution to see if it's gonna, you know, if it's too hot or whatnot. But you know, usually I just stick it down there somewhere, and then I stick some cardboard in between just to have it. I mean, after all, it's, like I said, it's a safety precaution, and it's just another way to tell the charger, okay, don't charge the battery right now because it's hot. That's basically what you're doing there. So let's get this reassembly process going, and I'll show you guys what I'm going to do next. All right, so here we go. I'm going to put this back on now, shake this through, and fix that again. There you go. Now for this one, what you want to do is just kind of put the old cover back on, just so that there's no short. And it's just another extra precaution. And you slip this through here, and I would push it down first all the way. Okay, and don't forget these guys right here. These sides, they go this way, so you could reattach those now on the sides. So now that the battery pack is complete, you want to double check and make sure that you have voltage. There you go, 18.6362. There you go. Everything's connected. And just like that, you guys, it is done. And again, oh, and one other thing, you want to, you want to just put a date on here or something, and you know, just to indicate that it's a new cell, and go from there. So now let's go and test it. So here's the battery pack. Here's my Ryobi blower. Turn it on. this is factory charge, you guys. This is factory charge. So it's not bad. Not bad at all. So there you have it, guys. It's a brand new battery pack now, and it cost me less than $13. And when you guys have that coupon at Harbor Freight, then you guys could get those batteries for less than $13. Okay, and just want to let you know, I am not endorsed by any of these companies. I simply just found a way to make myself some brand new batteries. So now when I go to like swap meets, or I run into a garage sale and someone has these dead batteries, you could even find them on Craigslist for like $6-7. First you want to do, try to wake it up, but most likely those cells are already damaged. Just buy yourself a Harbor Freight battery or any type of sub-C cell 18-volt pack, take it apart and move it into your Ryobi battery pack. You could do this for anything, Black & Decker, DeWalt, any of those name brand battery packs, and just make your own. Don't forget to date it here, and whatever number cell this is, I'm gonna have to erase that number 2 there now, and that's it. If you like this video, please give it a like, thumbs up, comment down below for any questions, suggestions, or whatever you may, or concern or whatnot. And again, this is how I made my battery pack, and there you go, you guys. Brand new Ryobi battery pack for less than $13. Have a blessed day, and don't forget to subscribe. See you later.